Well, hello there, Virgo. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are doing a special tarot reading in celebration of the new moon of Virgo, your sign, and is occurring on September 14th. So with this new moon, we are going to be asked specifically about where we are and where we want to go, right? And what things we may need to do on a daily basis in order to move towards what it is that we truly want. Now, Virgo, this is happening in your first house of identity, in your first house of the roles that you play, both at home and out in the world, how you want other people to perceive you. So during this new moon, you are going to be asked, who do you want to be? And where are you now? And according to that, it's about learning how to love who you are now as you move and work towards who you want to be. So we're going to take a look first at the overall energies here, and then we're going to move to the tarot and ask some specific questions. First, we're going to be taking a look at what obstacle or block may be on your path that is preventing you from being who you truly want to be, having those roles that you are wanting in your life. And then where you can focus your attention, what next step you can take in order to better align yourself to who you want to be. And then finally, the outcome if you do take those steps. So let's see what we have here. You have in the flow, everything is in smooth sailing, and groundhog spirit, time to let go. Okay, so we're going to definitely take a look at what you need to release. With new moons, there's always something that we need to release, whether that is a habit, that is a mindset, that is a belief, or sometimes it is, a person or a situation in our life. There's something here that has been kind of like gnawing at you, is the energy I have. Something that has been gnawing at you, something that you need to let go of so that you can move forward very quickly. So if you've been feeling stuck lately, and Virgo, there's been a lot of stuck energy lately because for the last 3 weeks we have been in retrograde season. We only have a few more days of this retrograde season, and really the 15th Mercury goes direct, and that's going to make a big change in just our energy of not feeling like we're just kind of stuck in the quicksand. So I feel like you'll be moving forward quickly once you allow yourself to let go of whatever this is that's kind of like gnawing at you. And they're highlighting that it's the number 31. 3 plus 1 is 4. This could have something to do with either your home life or your childhood. You are being asked, who do you want to be? For some of you, you may have been trying to fulfill some role that you kind of like acquired either as a child or, in your family, kind of like with your siblings or with your parents or with your own children or grandchildren. It's almost like you're taking a look again at how you fit in with your family, and maybe the role that you would rather play in your family, or perhaps creating a new family for yourself, a new environment for yourself. Yeah, this is lovely energy. I feel like you have a lot of healing, especially around your identity, either with love relationships or with your family relationships. Yeah, because you have the Four of Wands, getting some type of inspiration, some lesson, some wisdom about what happy family, happy home looks like. It could be that you've had to learn something a little bit the hard way, okay? Because we have the Libra energy here too. Kind of like having to toy, going back and forth about what it is that you really want for yourself rather than what your family wants for you. It's very much, I'm going to say, kind of like inner child work that you are doing at this time. Looking at how you are showing up with your family versus how you are when you're not with your family. And asking yourself, Why is there that gap, and which one of your roles, okay, either with your family or not with your family, right? Like going back and forth and saying, okay, what is authentic? What isn't authentic? Who is the real me? I feel like that's what it is. It's kind of like recognizing that you may not be your true self when you're around certain people, specifically family. It's understanding that, yes, it's time to see clearly about what it is that you want. I almost feel like there's a little bit of wanting an apology, okay? Perhaps of wanting an apology from someone, or feeling like maybe an apology, maybe you want to make an apology or something. But it's kind of like understanding that the only way to change the situation is to give it a cup of love, right? To give it a sense of forgiveness, of allowing there to be compassion in this situation. Wow. Yeah, because you have the night. Love will heal this situation, and it takes it into a whole new direction. This is definitely a new direction. In fact, I think for some of you, you could be wanting a love relationship that, okay, this is kind of interesting. I feel like if you have had love relationships in the past and you've brought them home to your family, and this won't resonate for all of you, but for a few of you, like you find someone that you really love and are attracted to, right? And then you take them home and then it dies, okay? There's almost this energy where you recognize that what you truly want for yourself in a sense of family is not what you have, but at the same time, you have been wanting your love relationships to fit in with your family. It's this energy of, can I ever bring these two things into balance? So it could be that even perhaps you found somebody new, okay, and your family has accepted that person, but then when you go home, okay, with your love partner, right, you go home and maybe for the holidays or something, you just feel out of character. Like you realize that when you're in a love relationship, you love so differently than what you have with your family, and it's almost like you're trying to figure it out. What is this gap? They keep saying gap. What is this gap? Where's the truth in all of this? And it has to do with the role that you play, the role that maybe you have acquired since childhood. Yeah, really interesting. So let's go to the tarot. Okay, we're first going to take a look at what you need to release. Okay, you have poised and you have the Empress energy. You know, the Empress creates her world, and gender doesn't matter, but it's an energy of loving. It's an energy of mothering, right? It's an energy of creating the loving environment that you want, and you have poised. But here's the thing, this is your obstacle. This is what you can't seem to acquire for yourself. An energy of nurturing, an energy of having an environment, of being the Empress, of creating the loving environment, the happy family, happy home that you are truly wanting for yourself. There's something that is preventing you from doing this. And is it because you look at what your childhood life was like and you're like, I don't want to create that for my child, right? Because you have the anxiety and then you have the Hierophant. Being very concerned about creating a family, of creating something that you grew up with as a child. So let's see what we have here. Yeah, I think that you've discovered that when you express your love, you don't get back what it is that you truly want. And perhaps, okay, we have the King of Pentacles, perhaps, especially from a male, role model, okay? as a child. So it's kind of like, father energy, grandfather energy. Giving your love, sharing your love with somebody, but not getting it in return, feeling kind of orphaned by this. So it's an energy where you may have tried to create a loving environment for yourself, but it's an energy of not having all of it. So you could have loving environments you could have that sense of nurturing with one person in your family, perhaps your mother, okay? You have this very loving energy with your mother, but you don't have that same sense with your father, right? It's kind of like you're wanting this very balanced energy, happy family, happy home, but you can't seem to find it. Or you have it with a love partner, somebody in your life already, or wanting to create that energy with somebody in your life. But then when you go home with this person, it's never the same, right? Either the romantic relationship ends, or you go home and you're like, oh my goodness, it's just so much chaos. Like, I can't, you don't feel like yourself. I think that's it. Like, you don't feel like yourself when you're in one situation or the other. I think you feel, if you're in a romantic relationship, I think you feel more like yourself when you're with that person than when you do when you're at home. But I feel like you don't have the same sense of self with your family that you have in the romantic relationship. I can totally relate to this, right? It is interesting that sometimes, if we're in a romantic relationship and then we go to visit family, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, like you're putting me back into that, for me, it was like, oh, you're putting me back into that little girl role, right? And I'm not a little girl. I'm married and I have children, but it's that energy, that dichotomy that is really playing havoc with you. I think you're doing some healing around that at this time. Okay, so what's the area to focus on? You have the Two of Cups, and then you have to the sea. Understanding that you are kind of like wanting to have I feel like you're wanting to have a romantic relationship, but at the same time, it's like you need to do this healing with your family. There's a sense of not feeling like there's balance in your life because of this situation. Yeah, there's something that has to end in order to bring healing. And then you have the Queen of Pentacles. So you have the King and Queen of Pentacles, right? I feel like something has to end. Now, it could be that you need to end a relationship, kind of like maybe with one of your parents, or you already have, but there needs to also be some healing around that situation. Okay, so maybe you you're no longer talking, you're estranged from one of your parents, or perhaps even one of your adult children, something like that. But there's a sense of needing to heal that in order to come back to your groundedness, right? Or there is this energy of healing something within yourself so that you can truly step into a relationship where you're open to loving. It's really, I feel like there's almost, I would really kind of ask you to reflect on your role in your family, the role that your childhood family members played, okay? There's something there about taking a look at that. There's something to let go of, because it is hindering you from finding true love in your life or truly loving yourself. Either way, okay? Because the Two of Cups can be loving yourself, truly loving all the parts of you, or finding a true romantic partnership. Really interesting energy. And I know this probably won't resonate with all of you, but it's about taking a look at the role that you played as a child, and then take a look at the role that you are playing now in your life. and asking yourself, what's the gap? What is missing here? There's a missing link. That's exactly what it is. There's some missing link that is preventing you from stepping into what it is that you truly want to create for yourself. Because this is your obstacle. It's here. It's available for you. You're having a hard time acquiring it, bringing it in, manifesting it. This is part of your destiny, is to heal whatever this situation is. Understanding that you may have to have a conversation. You may need to step into your power and have a conversation with somebody, allowing yourself to heal a certain situation, end a certain situation, so that you can completely step into loving yourself and having a romantic partner too. So let's take a look at your next step. Yeah, it's about bringing balance into your home. I feel like you don't have balance in your home life. There's a conversation that you're not having here, okay? There's a conversation with somebody that you're not having. There's a truth that needs to be shared. And I feel like for some of you, there's someone in your vicinity, in your life, whether it's, I don't think it's a romantic partner. I honestly think it could be a romantic partner, but I think it's probably a family member. That could be a parent, it could be a sibling, or it could be an adult child that you have, right? That you keep giving to the situation and you keep getting shortchanged. And you may not even be talking to this person anymore, but there is this sense that there's someone, okay, that you have loved, okay, but hasn't loved you back. Like has completely had you feeling orphaned. There is time to bring balance into this situation. It's time to have a conversation with somebody, I feel, or it's time to truly accept what this situation is and moving on from it. Yeah, because look at, oh my goodness, yeah, it could be with an air sign, okay? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, doesn't have to be, but seeing clearly that unless you have this balance. Okay, so this could be the situation they're sharing. Like you go home and, you have somebody in your family, like you don't live at home and you go home to visit for the holidays or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it always comes back to the same type of conversation of something that is just from your childhood. Oh, remember that time that you blah, 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 fill in the blank, why do you always blank, fill in the blank? There's something, and you're seeing that you need to have this conversation. You need to bring the balance into this. Because until you have this situation kind of like balanced out, then you can't have this true love for yourself and or having true love, true romantic partner. And the reason is because the role that you played as a child is affecting you at this time. Wow. Incredible. So if you were like the youngest in the family, right? You could have been the baby and people still treat you as the baby. Like you can't do anything for yourself and it doesn't matter. You could be the CEO of a company, right? And it's kind of like, yeah, well, you're just the baby. You don't know anything, right? And you're like, I'm 45 years old. I'm married. I have children. I'm a CEO. What else do I need to do to prove? It's kind of like calling them out on it. Okay. It's calling somebody out on it, saying, hey, I'm not, it's almost this energy where somebody makes you feel like you're not good enough, right? You're just not good enough, and maybe you're not a CEO. Maybe you have decided to become an artist, right? And then you go home and there's somebody that's constantly, saying, well, if you weren't an artist, if you were, in the business world, you would, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. Fill in the blank, right? And you're just kind of like calling him out on it. I think it's like cutting it to the chase. Just saying what you need to say and no longer worrying about it. Like kind of like, okay, I think for some of you, you maybe have been too compassionate, too nice to this person, given this person too many breaks, right? Just saying, oh, well, that's just dad, or that's just mom, or that's granddad, or whatever, right? It's kind of like, yeah, that's just who they are. Okay, understanding that is preventing you. Yeah, you have the king and the queen of swords too. I feel like this maybe is parents, okay? Because you have the king and queen of pentacles, the king and queen of swords. Could be parents, okay? That, whether your parents are together or separated or whatever, it's kind of like, yeah, this, I think you're just saying to somebody, this doesn't work for me. I don't like coming. It's almost this energy. I don't want to come home, because when I come home, then I have to deal with this. And I don't want to deal with this. It's almost like you're just saying it. Oh, okay. All right. So let's take a look, Virgo, at the outcome. Yes, you have, once you tell the truth, you have progress in the situation. You have healing in the situation. You acquire what it is that you want. You move out of the role of being, the young kid that, I have to say, I can kind of relate to this because I have three grown children, and we're getting ready to, take our annual family vacation, and we, rent a house near the coast. So my one son is not married, okay? And so he I could just see him, he's a Virgo, I could just see him showing up this year and just saying, no, that's not fair. Because his sister is married and she has a baby, and my other son isn't married. And he usually ends up getting the worst room. And I always feel like, okay, I always feel kind of, bad about that, because he's single. So it's kind of like, I can see him. This would be the situation. He shows up and he's like, you know what? I'm tired of it. I always get the worst room just because I'm the single one. It's that type of energy. It's kind of like, why should I get the worst room? The room that has the bunk beds in it. Why should I get that room just because I'm single? It's that type of energy, right? It is. It's understanding that there's something that is annoying you. It's kind of like, yeah, and so I feel like there is a truth that you have to share, and, understanding that this is helping you to step into a new portal. You're no longer blocking this new portal that you want to go in. It's kind of like speaking your mind, judgment card, making a decision. I don't like this situation, and I don't like this situation, and therefore I am making a judgment call. I am putting it out there into the world. I don't like this situation. I don't want to be treated like this. I have a role I would like to play in the world, and you are holding me back. You are making me feel like I'm sitting at the kids' table. That is the energy here. Oh, Virgo, I'm sending you so much love. It's just, I feel like you have probably found some success in life, or you're happy with maybe what you created for yourself. And there's something, when you go home, you feel as if it's not enough. It's not enough. You could go home, you could say, oh my goodness, I just got promoted. I got, my boss says I'm the best worker in the office or something. And dad says, oh, well, did you get a raise? It's just that energy. Oh. All right, Virgo, here you go. You are stepping into who you want to be. And the way that you step into that energy is speaking your truth. Sharing it, especially with, I feel like, your family members. There is something here about your family is holding you back, or there's something that you want to say to a family member, parent, sibling, adult, child. Wow, these cards are just flying out. Well, Virgo, I do personal readings, and I actually have a new moon in Virgo reading, a specific one. So if this one is resonating at all for you, you may want to check that out. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. All right. Does my life have more room for pleasure and play? Yes. In what area are you lacking pleasure right now? Maybe in certain relationships or with work. Is it possible to shift the seriousness of life to experiencing a more creative, wild, and playful side of you? Yeah, I feel like when you go home, whatever this is, right? You go home, that it's just tension with your family. You feel like they're going to ask you about your relationship, or they're going to ask you about work or something like that. It's kind of like just letting your heart out on the table and saying, you know what, this I don't want to talk about this anymore, or whatever it is that you have to say. I don't want to sleep in a bunk bed. I don't want to sleep in a bunk bed. All right. Well, Virgo, I'm going to leave it there. I do wish you so much love and light, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.